50 years. It's been just 50 years since the passing of a scholar whose writings seem to come from the depths of Islamic history. As I travel the world to build academic bridges and draw from the scholarship of East and West, there is a name that universally commands great respect: Muhammad al-Tahir ibn Ashur. But who was this legendary scholar, and why is our Quranic Studies Centre named after him? As a British Pakistani graduate of Egypt's Al-Azhar, I don't have any obvious links to Ibn Ashur or his land and culture. But spiritually, intellectually, I find myself drawn to him. So in this 50th year since he left this world, I went on a journey to strengthen that connection and make a commitment to serve his legacy. The Zaytuna Mosque, like the Qarawiyyin and Al-Azhar, was the basis for an ancient university which continues to grant degrees to this day. This is where Ibn Ashur emerged among an illustrious scholarly and political family. As a reform-minded professor and administrator, he rose through the ranks at Zaytuna to become its Grand Sheikh in 1932. He had a longer tenure from 1945 to 52, and then he was appointed rector of the university when Tunisia became independent from France in 1956. Sheikh Muhammad al-Tahir ibn Ashur was a reference point for the ulama and served as leading judge and Sheikh al-Islam of the Maliki school of jurisprudence. I spoke to the current university president about the significance of the famed Sheikh al-Zaytuna.
في الحقيقة الشيخ محمد الطاهر بن عاشور ليس زيتونيا وليس تونسيا، إنما هو علم من أعلام الإسلام والمسلمين، لكن نال الله فضله بكونه كان في تونس وكان في الزيتونة. في الحقيقة علمه شرق وغرب، وإشعاعه تجاوز الحدود وبلغ، ومؤلفاته ترجمت إلى لغات عدة.
Our centre has a particular interest in Ibn Ashur's tafsir and in making it accessible in English and other languages. This is a work that displays the author's deep grounding in all the traditional Islamic sciences and helps the reader appreciate the power and beauty of God's words. At the same time, Ibn Ashur is widely considered a mujaddid, a leading reviver of true religion in the past century. This can only be the case with a scholar who combines reverence for tradition with the courage to be creative. There is no limit to the insights that can be drawn from the Quran, and one of the most rewarding routes is to engage the great minds of the past through a contemporary sage like al-Tahir ibn Ashur.
ونحن في الزيتونة في الحقيقة نبذل جهود ربما يراها غيرنا متواضعة، لكن ذاك جهد مقل في سبيل الكشف عن العديد من الجوانب الإبداعية في شخصية هذا العلم. لذلك هناك العديد من الرسائل الجامعية في جامعتنا كتبت حول المقاصد، حول فكر ابن عاشور في المقاصد، بل رسائل كثيرة كتبت حول التحرير الذي حرر فيه العقول ونورها.
التحرير والتنوير. The full title of this commentary means documenting the precise meaning and illuminating a new mindset through exegesis of the majestic book. The short title makes you think of liberation and enlightenment, that pondering deeply on the message of the Quran will set our societies free from all that holds us back. He states in his introduction that this work contains the best of what is in the tafsirs and things better than what is in the tafsirs. This confidence and constructive approach is an inspiration for us at the Ibn Ashur Centre for Quranic Studies. It shouldn't be a surprise that people in far-flung continents appreciate the writings of Ibn Ashur, sometimes more than the people of his own country. I met with the Indonesian ambassador to Tunisia, who is one of the Sheikh's biggest admirers. He told me about Ibn Ashur's profound influence on Islamic thought in Southeast Asia.
If you ask me, the influence of Allama Toher bin Ashur in Indonesia is very, very big. Very, very big. And I said to the Tunisian people here that we respect Allama Toher bin Ashur a lot because of him. Indonesia is so lucky to have a very wonderful understanding of Islam. If you visit Indonesia, of course you already visit Indonesia. For instance, on television in Ramadan, you will listen about Tahrir with Tanwir. Even in Tunisia, you never listen to that.
I was amazed to hear that Ustaz Zuhairi visited the grave of Imam Ibn Ashur the day after arriving in Tunisia as the ambassador. Of course, I went there to pray for him and his family and ourselves to follow in his footsteps. But Professor Abdul Latif reminded me something important. Beyond the grave, the Imam remains alive in his books and with his thought. It was a tremendous honour to be welcomed to my hero's home and personal library by his grandson, the historian and former culture minister, Muhammad Al-Aziz bin Ashur. I got to handle the tafsir in the author's own hand.
وقد أشار إلى ذلك قوله تعالى في آية فرض الصيام ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر والمعتبر من المشاق التي تسقط العبادة.
But perhaps the sweetest moment was being told that the Sheikh's family took pride in the fact that our humble centre is carrying their name. Just like them, we hope to keep that name alive by studying and teaching the great works of Muhammad al-Tahir ibn Ashur, not least his magnificent tafsir. I already had the honour of serving the likes of Imam al-Razi and Imam al-Suyuti, and this 20th century Imam is no less deserving. Our first production will be a full annotated translation of his 10 tafsir introductions, together with the history of tafsir written by his son Al-Fadl ibn Ashur. We are also working on a dictionary of Quranic words and expressions extracted from At-Tahrir wa Tanwir. The longer-term project is to produce a full Quran translation based firmly upon Ibn Ashur's linguistic insights, together with footnotes summarized from his tafsir. By Allah's permission, and with the support of specialists and well-wishers worldwide, these efforts will enlighten the Ummah for the next 50 years or more.
إن غاب مرآه فذي آثاره قامت لمعتبرين مقام عيانه كالغيث أنبت ما يطيب من الجنى ثم انقضى وجناه في أغصانه تفسير آيات الكتاب مبرهن عنه بما يحويه من تبيانه يا رب حقق فيه قول مؤرخ الطاهر الفضل غدا لجنانه.